In a world where reality and gaming blur, a beam of light illuminated anew. Meet our protagonist, who found himself in a familiar yet unknown place, dungeon and stone, as his fingers hovered over the keyboard. The protagonists have been hospitalized and had nothing to do, so he played games to pass time. Then it became an integral part of his life, until the time came that playing wasn't enjoyable to him as it used to be. He wished that there is something special that would bring back the spark of playing. As he was seeking for that game, this one hooked his attention. That's when he discovered Dungeon and Stone. It is a single-player game created by an indie developer, which had a rare retro pixel art graphics. The protagonist gave it a shot. As he entered the game, it need to choose a character. He chose the Barbarian and thought it won't matter because he will only play it in a short period of time. In no time, he fell in love with Dungeon and Stone. He started playing the game for fun, but later on, he got fully immersed with the game. The concept of the game is when the character dies, it will start all over again, and you'll need to start from scratch. He swore to beat this game by himself. Since he was hospitalized, he will serve as social service agent. While studying in college after graduating, and while commuting to work, Dungeon and Stone was all he played. 9 years have passed. He finally got to the final stage of the game, the Abyss. It took him 9 years. He spent almost his entire 20s trying to get to this part. He's confident that he will enter the dungeon of the final boss. Are you sure to enter the game? You may be unable to return once you enter the room. He thinks that the game just want to scare him, then pressed yes. His goal is to gather as much information as possible about the boss to come up with a strategy. The game's done loading. It took him a while to realize. Tutorial successfully cleared. All of a sudden, the text turned to Korean. He freaked out. He thought that Dungeon and Stone only support English. An intense flash of light appeared. He can feel an intense pain all over his body. Then the transmission process started. The protagonist lost his consciousness. "Congratulations, young warriors!" He heard someone's voice. "You will leave the sanctified grounds today." He thinks who would speak this loud in the middle of the night. Then he woke up again. "And begin your journey to become true warriors." He felt lost, confused of what's happening. He sees torches instead of LED lights, physically superior and fearsome people around him, and a strange old man yelling nonsense. But it seemed familiar, like he have seen it all before. The old man yelled and told them to pick a weapon of their choice. Him, confused, thought what weapon? He also think about how he understands the language, though he have not heard it before. He's analyzing, wanting to figure out what's going on. His body seems perfectly fit. He paused and realized his hands are much bigger, and he have muscles he never had before. The old man yelled whomever he called out should walk up to the altar. The protagonist was confused of what's going on. Karak, the third son of Fanun, was called. Karak chose a two-handed battle axe. The old man then yelled, "Karak, the third son of Fanun, you have just begun your journey as a warrior." Then he called Einar, the second daughter of Fenelin. The protagonist thought that he'd definitely seen this before. Young, uncivilized men and women take turns in choosing their weapons. They are then recognized as a warrior. May there be the glory of Ravdonia in the path of this young warrior. With that, the protagonist confirmed. He is in the game, the Dungeon and Stone. He realized that is how the game began, as the protagonist chose the barbarian character. Now, he was just about to enter the dungeon of the final boss as a barbarian. The male lead is thinking of how it was possible when he noticed the man beside him, pale and frightened, and said, "Why is he even there?" Unknowingly, the old man appeared, angrily asked who said something without permission. He asked the protagonist. He denied. The old man concluded that it was the frightened guy. The guy asked if the old man's talking about Dungeons and Dragons. Before the guy finishes his sentence, the axe of the old man sliced his head off. The male lead was terrified, but he think that he should not show that he was. The old man said that Orlim, the man that was killed, was possessed by an evil spirit. He told the protagonist to forget every word that came from the evil spirit's mouth. The ceremony resumed. The protagonist think he knows what's happening. Anyone that came from the side of the game like him are evil spirits, and if they found out about it, it will be the end of their lives, so he must not be found out until the end of the ceremony. But there's a problem. As the old man called them one by one, he realized he doesn't know who he is. He thought of a strategy. Though the chance is slim, he got no choice. It is when within 2 seconds after the name is called out and no one step forward, he will. Bjorn, son of Yandel, step forward. He counted. 1, then 2. He thought that might be his name. He stepped forward. The old man told him to choose his weapon. He was relieved that he was right. He was Bjorn, son of Yandel. Then it's time to choose his weapon. He thought that barbarian are not born with magical affinity, but they have great physicality. That's why he chose a shield. He have taken the first step toward becoming a warrior. Then, synchronization complete. Throwback when the male lead first started the game, he initially chose a great sword as a starting weapon, but it was poor in defense. He tried every other weapon, but he always ended up risking his character's life. Then a thought came into his mind to use Barbarian as a damage dealer. Since Barbarian are blessed with vitality and strength, why not use it in his favor? He tried it out and boom! It was a game changer. A sound of rumble was heard when opening the gate. After the ceremony, the barbarians must enter the labyrinth. However, in order to do that, they must set foot in the city where it is located, Ravdonia. Then the barbarians ran. The protagonist followed them and ran. He was curious if those guys really know where they were going. Suddenly, Karak, third son of Fanun, admit that he got lost when he was the one leading them. Karak acknowledged his mistake and will no longer take the lead. Then Einar, the second daughter of Fenelin, wants to take the lead. But a moment passed. Einar was lost also. The barbarians were disappointed. They told Jin, the second son of Tetran, to lead, but he refused. Bjorn think that if no one will lead, then they might not reach the labyrinth on time. On the other hand, he don't want to step up and draw attention, so he went to Einar and told her how to navigate. Einar asked if he speaks the truth and how so. Bjorn told her to just follow those people who live there. Einar gave it a try and told everyone that she found a way to labyrinth. Finally, they saw the labyrinth. Bjorn wasn't so sure of entering the labyrinth as he was not blessed with good health in the real world when he was not Bjorn. He questioned his ability to kill a monster that lurks within the shadows. He thought that there might be a way to pay Ravdonian tax without entering the labyrinth. He thought of the tax system as one of the worst features of the game, as all citizens must pay taxes or they will be sentenced to death. In Dungeon and Stone, there are several ways to earn money. The most popular are entering the labyrinth to fight monsters, working at an establishment like a pub in the city. But he realized they were barbarians, and they are not allowed to work regular jobs. Hence, he have to enter Labyrinth. Labyrinth portal only open once a month. Bjorn thought he might barely survive a month. He got no other choice but to enter. He feel like his feet are glued to the ground, terrified of the idea that he's not playing in his computer anymore, and that it was his life now that depends on it. All of a sudden, Einar called him and tapped his shoulder. It is now 5 minutes until the portal closes. They must hurry as the portal is getting smaller and smaller each passing time. Bjorn told Einar to go first, then he'll follow. Before going in, Einar thanked him for his advice and asked how can she be wise as him. He thought to tell her whatever. Then he told her, always think before you move. Einar thanked him again and promised to pay back when she returned alive from the labyrinth. The protagonists think of how brave the barbarians are in the game, and it didn't look much different there. He asked Einar if she was afraid of dying. She answered yes, but they were born as warriors. She said if she dies, that means she cannot fight. Bjorn thought that they cannot possibly live in that world without having to kill monsters. That might be the reason barbarians suppress their fears. Bjorn decided to get in. He's afraid, but swears he'll do whatever it takes to survive.
Bjorn entered the crystal cave on the first floor. He have no clue where he is. But according to his knowledge, the crystals on the walls of the labyrinth on the first floor provide a source of light. The outermost and a few sections on the first floor are completely dark. These areas are not supposed to be a starting place. But this is not a game anymore, Bjorn thought. He checked the equipments and other feature of the game, but nothing's working. He decided to walk slowly in one direction. He questioned if he was too slow and thought crawling might be a good choice. Unfortunately, he felt the pain coming from his feet. It was a trap. His feet was caught by a goblin trap. The game warned that the characters stepped on a goblin trap. Bjorn calmed himself and kept it down. He think of possibilities. He remembered that only goblins use traps, but a chance that there's probably a goblin nearby is not zero, or is it that he's lucky that the goblin went somewhere else? He don't want to take any chance and assume the worst scenario. He think that the goblin might just be waiting for him to pass out as the trap contains poison, and that is why he can't hear anything. Bjorn decided that he will strike first. At this moment, his right foot is already numb. He challenged what's behind the dark to come out, but there's no response. Bjorn then decided to waste no time and walked. Then he heard a footstep. The beast is following him at certain distance, but stops when he stopped walking. He changed plans and started running. He tumbled and fell. To his surprise, the beast just threw him a rock. Bjorn thought that it was the beast's strategy to know if he's really dead. He thought that that was a smart move. When the beast came closer, he rose and punched the beast, but he missed. Surprisingly, his body moved on its own. His hand smashed the goblin. He can feel and predict the goblin's movement. He was amazed as a person who had been hospitalized most of his life, that's now in a barbarian's body. He felt superior. He defeated the goblin and it disappeared. He then gained 1 X point. Just like in the game, he received a red gem. As he can remember, this is the currency used in the Dungeon and Stone. It is a tier 9 monostone. It can buy him a bread. The main character is in the world where monsters dwell, and these monsters will turn to dust after dropping a loot. The game warned the male lead that his character Bjorn is losing blood. He is taking damage from it. Bjorn is really hurting right in the moment, but giving up is not his thing. Several warnings was made he is taking damage from bleeding. He wondered what happened to that beheaded guy. Did he die for good, or he returned in his original body? Bjorn's health has reached below 5%. A hope is needed in this time of despair. He saw a light. It's getting brighter and brighter as he crawled towards it. An illusion of himself appeared, discouraging him, telling him who would help a dying barbarian and such. But Bjorn is determined to survive, hoping anyone would help him out there. Finally, he reached the light. There were adventurers. One of the adventurers saw him. His health has reached 4% until it became 2% now. An achievement unlocked. His spirit stat is permanently increased by 1 now. The adventurers can tell that it's his first time and they find it strange that a beginner got there before them. Dros, one of the adventurer, asked Sister Ursina to heal Bjorn, but she refused. Bjorn heard Sister. He concluded that this party consists of a cleric, which means they are aiming to go far in the labyrinth. Dros asked Patsaran to at least give him a health potion because they have many on them anyway. Patsaran gave him one and Dros treated Bjorn with it. The potion hurt as hell. Bjorn's body feels like it was about to explode. He understands now why players were not allowed to use healing potions during the bottle in the game. After surviving a near-death experience, Bjorn continuously defeated goblins. He was nervous at first, but eventually goblins are not a threat to him anymore as long as he can see well. The problem is the food the chieftain gave him. 5 days' worth of food was gone just like that. He think about preserving the food and only eating it when he really need to. Now he's thirsty. He remembered that Dungeon and Stone has a feature called Nourishment, which is activated only in the labyrinth, wherein they don't have to carry water because all it requires is eating food. And he also remembered that the chieftain didn't bring any, so the feature in the game might still be possible. Suddenly he heard a sound of dripping. When he went there, he saw a human. Although this is the first man he run into after the adventurers, they did not engage in conversation. Adventurers in the labyrinth try not to speak with one another unless they need to. He counted the gems. It was 44. He gathered a lot already. But he felt exhausted. He wanted to sleep. There are 2 ways to sleep in the labyrinth. One is to sleep at the safest place he could find, which might risk his life. And 2 is form a temporary party to have someone to watch your back and vice versa. The thing is, he couldn't enter a party. Some are full already. Some are disgusted by barbarians. He was losing hope in finding a companion, but a man approached him and asked if he was looking for a knight companion. He hoped to have a strong barbarian companion to watch duty. Bjorn agreed. The man was glad and introduced himself. He is Hans. Bjorn accepted it and introduced himself also. Hans said it is ideal to have 2 companions, but he don't have the energy to look for another one. So he asked if it's all right to be just them to look for each other.